Well, it's a good day. Had a lot of fun out there. Stayed healthy. Got a lot of young guys needed reps, which is often what you do in the last scrimmage of the spring. It was great to have a lot of our football alumni, our Tech alumni back, and being able to recognize them at the end of the day, and our players to be able to tell them thank you for everything that they've done before them. And I think that's really big for us as a program, because we say we, us, and our. We do try to understand that we play for those guys that have come before us. And to be able to connect that over the last 2 days, yesterday in our Letterman jacket ceremony, today post-spring game, is big for me. And I know that was good to establish relationships and bring guys back together that have played together, and then for our players to connect with them. And that's important to me. Today was really about showcasing, some young guys in the scrimmage part. We obviously held a lot of guys out. We obviously limited a bunch of guys: Schooler, Merriweather, Fields, Nelson, and Banasaur. A lot of the first team O-linemen. We held those guys out of extended reps. We limited to them, and then obviously the guys we held out either pre-spring ball injuries or guys that have just come down with some injuries, and a few guys. I had a couple get up sick this morning. Flu's kind of going around through here with temperatures, fever, and that kind of deal. So we held them out. So we had a lot of guys held out. But just, after the halftime, the showcasing and the one-on-ones was exactly what we wanted to do, and give them some of those reps in front of a crowd. And biggest part is our eval. Our biggest eval was really 1 through 14. Not as much today, maybe a little bit today, but we've made a lot of good strides. It's been a really good spring. Obviously, we didn't have spring last year, but it's not even close to the 2019 spring, and we are further ahead. And I'm proud of our guys. I don't think there was one day, the 14 days, and then today, that we traded time for money. I really thought that our guys came out intent and focused and put time in before practice, stayed after practice, and I'm really proud of how we're progressing in this program, of our character of our guys, and the way that they prepare and then they go out and practice, and that's been huge, and we've made really good strides. More work to do, a lot more work to do. So one thing, I'll just go ahead and talk about it because it's been asked, and I just want to talk. Eric Ezekama unfortunately broke his arm in practice on Thursday. 2 spots, had surgery, very successful yesterday morning, getting out of the hospital today. And good thing is Eric, it's not going to derail Eric's Texas Tech career, and absolutely not his NFL career. It'll be a few months through the summer. He's got some hurdles to overcome. We'll see how he heals, and he may be a quick healer. So we'll see, and we'll have a whole lot better idea come August. But he'll play a lot of football for us in the fall. Biggest thing is how fast can he heal? None of us know. So we'll know a little bit more in 6 weeks. But just kind of a freak thing, came down on it and broke it. But surgery went well. Dr. Gaines did a really good job from what they've told me, and he'll be quick on the mend and was in good spirits. We talked to him this morning again, as well as yesterday. But anyway, he's a tough man, one of our best players, our best workers, and our best people in this program, and he'll come back stronger than ever. And he knows it, we know it, and his teammates will be there to lift him up. So with that, let's go ahead and start. Open it up for any questions.
We'll start with Jarrett.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, Jarrett.
Can you give us an idea who else is working at Eric's position? Who you need to step up? I know it's off season, but who's at that position?
Well, we moved Jerron Bradley over there today. How about that? You move a 17-year-old over a position 2 days before the spring game. He played a little bit there early in spring. He and Loic were playing that right receiver, and Trey and JJ were playing the left receiver. Joel, those are guys that are all interchangeable. Joel could move those guys around, but they'll all play. All 4 of those guys will play both spots.
You mentioned the team making a lot of strides this spring. Can you give us a position group that maybe has come the furthest this spring, and then also maybe a couple individuals?
You know, it's good to see LB Moore make some plays today. That guy flashed early in the day today. You know, position group. Probably say offensively, I would probably say either the running back room or the tight end room, only because I thought Taj Brooks really progressed as spring went. Chad had a really good spring. He really did. Chad Townsend, and I think continues to put himself in that conversation with how much he's going to be able to play. Obviously, Roderick's, you know, with him being limited this August, Chad will play a big role, as will Cameron Valdez when he gets in here. I say the tight end room because I thought Kuntz got better. He really did. John Michael, you know, true freshman playing in the Big 12. That, first of all, says something. He had a good spring. And then the two young puppy tight ends. Young puppy. Sorry, that's what we call them. But Mason and Jed, you know, guys should still be in high school right now. I thought they had some good flashes. You saw them today. Mason made some nice catches today. So probably those two. And then the other one I'd probably say is the corner room or the DB room. You know, Nate Floyd, who was not out there today, he's one of the guys that came down sick. Nate went back and forth between corner and cover safety. Kobe Minor had some really good days. Rashad Williams got better as spring ball went and gained confidence. Adrian Fry had a really good spring. So I would probably single out some of the DBs.
Go to Ronald.
Coach, what was sort of your overall take on the scrimmage today?
Have fun, stay healthy, showcase a few guys, and get out healthy. And that's what I think we did. That was our goal going in.
And then, you know, obviously the offense seemed to struggle to get into the end zone today. Did that say more about, you know, the defensive spring or just the offense still working in some things?
No, I saw a really good give and take is what I saw out there today. I saw the number one offense drive it all the way down, and I saw our number one defense bow their back in the red zone. And then I saw, you know, Shuck take them all the way down and do a nice job, and it was some give and take. You know, in those last couple series, actually the last three series, we kind of emptied the benches a little bit and played a lot of guys. And so I think you saw a good give and take out there today. And it wasn't about the winner or the loser, to be honest with you. We're as competitive as anybody, but it wasn't so much the score today. And the defense, I thought the defense had a really good spring. And we held, I mean, when you hold out Jacob Morgenstern, Cam White, Malik Dunlap, Rico Jeffers, Nate Floyd, Josiah Pierre, all those guys, Gilbert Ebenemy on defense. I mean, a ton of guys we held out. It wasn't about today, Ronald, but I did think, you know, they did a nice job in that first red zone series. And then I think Morgenstern and Schooler were done for the day after that. And Fields, I don't know how much Fields played right after that either. Maybe he played one more series.
Go to Sam.
And I've heard you and the coaches talk about how this team has approached the spring and how you mentioned you guys haven't wasted any practices. Does that speak to the maturity that you have on your team, and how good does that make you feel about going into this offseason? Makes
me feel real good, Sam, because we take pride in that. I think that's two groups of guys. I think it's the guys that have been here for a couple years and they've developed under us, and they understand how important it is to come to work every day in spring. You got 15 practices and they're valuable, and it's time to go out and get better. I also think it speaks volumes to the transfers that we brought in. And that's also, I think we feed off a lot of their demeanor. I mean, Muddy Waters is a pro. I mean, Tyler Shuck, TJ Stormont, those guys have come in, and I mean, it is coming in early, it's staying late. It's on the field, I'm talking about coming into meetings early and staying late. Those guys bring a maturity, and you combine that with the guys that have been in the building the last 2 years that have really learned how to do it. I think you see a more confident team. I think you see a team that's a little bit more assured in their abilities. It's probably right on the edge of cocky, which is exactly where I want it. But I want confident guys that have built that confidence based on the time and the work that they've invested in this program, in the weight room with Coach Scholes, in the meeting rooms, and on the practice field. And that's the way this game needs to be played. I believe that's the way you need to build this program, and the more talented guys that we do that with, hopefully the better outcome we have.
Go to Don.
Gotcha, Don.
Okay. Hey, Eric, which arm was it with Eric that he broke?
I don't remember.
Right or left?
Right.
And was it in a team setting, or was it like one-on-one drills, or what?
Yeah, we were in
setting
a
was it?
team
What session?
drill. We were in a team drill. He just came down and
Yeah.
braced himself.
Okay. You mentioned Nate Floyd. What did he have?
Sick.
The quarterback competition. How do you foresee that now?
Don, I lost you. I just heard QB. Can you say it again?
The quarterback competition. Where do you think you are now after 15 practices?
Well, I
in terms
think.
of anybody having an advantage.
Yeah, I think what you've really got is the guys that you saw today. I think, Henry started taking the first reps in the spring, just coming off of last year. Henry improved. He got better this spring. Did a nice job. Tyler came in day 3, practice 3 was his first day in the program, and really I think it's a testament to him and his maturity and how smart he is to be able to start where he started and operate, coming in and getting in the late in business classes and graduate school and learning a new offense at the same time. Both of those freshmen, Baron Morton, Donovan Smith, that's the future. And I don't know when that future is. I don't know how fast that future comes, and that's on those guys. I think they certainly have the talent. Those guys have certainly had really good days and good periods. They've had times where they have struggled, but that's to be expected, and nothing from Coach Cumbie and I, doesn't make us down on them one bit. Those guys have got a bright future, and they've had really good days. And now those guys, as they go into the summer and they go into player run workouts in the weight room and then into training camp in August, Don, they've got to make individual strides that continues to put them, in that competition and further up in that competition. And they all have to earn reps. Reps aren't given, they're earned. And that is the toughest position in the program to gain reps, is the QB spot, because you only play one at a time. And then today, this scrimmage today didn't do really that room many favors, only because of the limited amount of reps. We got 12 skelly reps in there and then some one-on-ones, but I think we were right around 50 plays or so, and just where we needed to be for the injury and then the health and with our team and how many guys we had out today, which is fairly natural at this time in the spring. But I'm excited to watch that competition as it goes all summer.
Go to Chuck.
Yeah, Matt, what have you seen from the progress of the entire offense in the new system, 15, and what's your comfort level going into the summer now that you guys have taken a big step forward?
Yeah, Chuck, I think Coach Cumbie's got a lot installed, different tempos, different formations, personnel groups. A lot of stuff has been thrown out, and as we get into the summer, we will install and go through several install cycles during training camp. And then at some point about the middle of training camp, you start honing that down and start cutting it down to the strengths of your top couple quarterbacks, the strengths of your wide receivers and your running backs and tight ends, and who merits more playing time. Is there more? Some of those tight ends, are they merited more playing time than other guys, skill guys, H receivers? Do we put Mannix and Rigdon on the field at the same time? Miles and Mannix. Do we play with 2 slots and play out of 10 personnel? Do we play with 2 tailbacks like you saw a few snaps today? Do we play with 2 tights? All those kind of questions that Sonny and the offensive staff to get to answer. But I like where we're at, because I think our guys really bought into Coach Cumbie. He's got a good vibe. I think they responded, and they certainly had a really good second half of spring ball. The defense, I would have said, dominated probably the first half of spring ball. The offense held its own in the second half, and I thought there was good give and take the last couple of weeks of spring ball.
Go to Jarrett.
Hey, Coach, to follow up on Don's question about the quarterback competition, it seemed like one of the big goals this offseason was to improve quarterback play. After going through spring, do you feel like that is the case, that quarterback play will be improved next season?
Yeah. It's the best quarterback room top to bottom that we've had, Jarrett, since we've been here. Not close. They're all good. And, continue to develop those guys, and they gain confidence in the offense. Teammates gain confidence in them. It's going to be fun to watch, but, that's our job as coaches, to put competitive depth in that room, and it's their job to earn reps. But, yeah, without question, yes, you're right.
And then what did you think about Rico on the mic? Does he have a future as an MC?
I don't know if I heard everything he said, but I heard some of the most of the stuff during 7-on-7. That was hilarious. And what was interesting is he called Miles Price out right before that touchdown catch, and I thought you saw Miles circle back and go kind of dap him up a little bit. But Rico's fun. He's I'll say something about Rico. I'm glad you brought that up. It's a guy that it's tough when you get injured, guys. It's tough. Rehab, it can be a lonely world in the rehab. Dawson Deaton, Xavier White, so Roderick, Rico, I commend all those guys. They became assistant coaches this spring. They were encouraging, coaching, involved every day. And that is leadership. I think that's maturity in our program, and our younger guys, I think, look up to that. But my hat's off to all those guys, and probably even a few more. Malik Dunlap comes to mind. Malik just got here, and he had surgery on his shoulder, and he's going to be fine and everything in June. But he's out there encouraging and coaching. And I don't know what the heck he's coaching about, because he doesn't even know what we're doing on defense. Well, he does, because he's sitting in meetings. But I was encouraged by those guys in terms of their leadership and maturity. They did a great job, and it looks like Rico had a good day on the mic.
We'll finish with Sam.
Matt, what did you think of Mark Adams' route running ability in his hands?
Oh, well, I thought it was a good route, good catch. A little pressure on him. He had some of his team and his new assistants around him. Saw his boss, Kirby, was down there, our boss. Nice catch. Coach is an old high school quarterback, but he's got shoulder issues. Didn't want him to throw, so he wanted to catch a ball. And, more than anything, we wanted to recognize them. Our staff fully supports Mark Adams and our basketball team. Our players do. You probably saw a few of our players chatting up Coach Adams, trying to get a tryout after the bowl game. But we do. And that's kind of the atmosphere here on campus, and that's something that Kirby creates in our athletic department is a tight-knit group all of us as coaches support each other. Coach Gerlich, Tadlock and those guys are out of town. We'll be at the series next weekend, and Coach Kitley and Coach Sands and I are good friends. I mean, all the way around in this department. I know I left some of the other coaches out, but that's the camaraderie. That's Texas Tech. That's Red Raiders. We kind of all stick together around here and just support that basketball team and Coach Adams, absolutely.
Sonny, what do you think of how the guys look today and how well the offense moved the ball?
I was really pleased with all the quarterbacks and how well they operated the offense. We had one pre-snap penalty, which is something we want to try to eliminate in the red zone. That hurt us, and that's really the things that this spring that we've learned from is the things that have slowed us down. It's really ourselves in terms of pre-snap penalties. But I thought they handled themselves well. They didn't. There wasn't a moment where I thought that they were rattled or they were nervous or they were jitters. They acted very calm. They threw the ball accurately. They protected the football well, and was really pleased with how well we pushed the ball down the field with some of our play action stuff.
Go to Jarrett.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned pushing the ball down the field. It seems like several of those big receivers really stepped up today. Can you talk about how the receiving corps played?
Yeah, that's what I said, back when we started. You look at our receivers, and it looks like we've got a basketball team out there with some of those guys with some length, some size, guys that can make – we talk about catch radius, and those guys, you put the ball in the vicinity, and they're going to make a play on it. And that's what you've seen throughout the course of spring with J.J. Sparkman, with Bradley, with Loic, with Eric. Those guys out there, outside receiver. Trey Cleveland had a really good spring. And so that's the thing is when we call certain things, they know they're getting the ball. It's a mentality outside for them. And Coach Filani has really fostered that mentality and that mindset of when we're coming to them and we call certain plays, they know the ball's coming to them and they're going to go make plays on it.
How do you feel like the offensive line performed today, and do you feel like it has improved throughout spring?
It has improved through spring. Numbers wise, we're down a few linemen, but that's the thing I think about when guys are down is it's an opportunity for us to build the depth of our roster, to build the lower ranks, and lower I mean by just the numbers. Let's get our numbers up higher. We're 1 through 8 to 10. We're going to be strong on the offensive line. I thought they protected well today. I think we had one error in protection that cost us, but I think as they went through spring, they are understanding our protections, and they've really throughout the consistency of spring in terms of run game, they've done a really nice job in our zone blocking scheme, and it's a starting point for us. I talk to our guys all the time that we're doing spring practice. We're doing 15 spring practices, and we're not to the games yet. And so from this point, we have a launching point to through the summer and then through fall camp to prepare to be ready for that first game.
Go to Brandon.
Yeah, Coach, just sticking with the run game, what do you think about Taj Brooks got there in the end zone first today?
That run is pretty much what we've seen in 15 practices from Taj Brooks in terms of his toughness, his physicality, his pad level. He has unbelievable vision and feet in the backfield. And it's another thing with Sir Roderick being limited. And throughout the course of this spring, you've seen the emergence of Taj Brooks. You've seen the emergence of Chad Townsend. And then when we get X White back, when we add Cameron Valdez and then Sir Roderick back, that room is going to be very talented. And it's going to be competitive. But Taj Brooks has done a great job this spring running the football. He's probably been our most consistent player on the offense.
Then talking quarterbacks, on one-on-ones, looks like Barron's accuracy was really on display. How's he kind of progressed since arriving on campus?
It's been, as with any freshman. I asked him the other day, I said, what's your girlfriend? What's she doing? And he's like, well, she's getting ready to go to prom. And I said, well, that's what you should be doing too. You have to keep that in perspective because you came out of high school. You're in an offense that you're learning new. You're going against a defense that has a lot of experience, a lot of older players. And so I think Barron has taken strides this spring. And I remind you, you come early as a quarterback to compete, but you also come early to learn the offense. So when we get to the summer and we get to fall camp, you know what the heck's going on, and now you're ready to really challenge and compete. So I've been very pleased with Barron and his competitiveness and getting the ball out of his hand, and he needs to take those one-on-one reps to team reps.
Go to Chuck.
Yeah, Sonny, just from the standpoint of not only an install of the new offense and having that in place, but also the recognition kind of guys now treating it as second nature. Are you seeing all those signs that you look for at the end of spring practice?
We are, in some of our bread and butters. We're seeing guys where they're reacting and they're not thinking. About midway through spring, I had to remind myself that this is a new offense. These guys have played a lot of football, but this is a completely new offense. And all right, let's get really good at these things in the pass game. Let's get really good at these things in the run game. And by getting good at them, the players have to be confident. They have to react. Football is a reactionary game. And so I think the guys in our bread and butters, they've shown a lot of improvement, a lot of strides in reacting and not thinking. And because we have a lot of ability, and that's what I want those guys to play with. I don't want them out there, thinking about first steps or stance and start or my hands. I want them to go out there and react, and they did that throughout the course of the spring better.
Go to Ronald.
We talked about that wide receiver group and, taking those shots deep. How important is it going to be, to this offense to be able to stretch the field like that and go to those big targets?
Well, I think it's really important. You got to create explosive plays, and how do you do that? And taking shots down the field with our receivers inside and outside and tight ends to try to create those explosives. If we can get one-on-one situations with our size, we feel confident in it. And I think all of those things help with the run game. And you'll see this fall, when we get the full strength in the running back room, I think we have some guys in the backfield that are pretty dynamic and pretty explosive. And so I'm encouraged where we're at right now in the run game, and then also throwing the ball down the field.
Go to Don.
Sonny, kind of following up on that a little bit, what does Tyler's arm strength do for this offense? His ability to, it seems like, throw every pass.
Yeah, Tyler has the ability to stand in the pocket and really make all the throws from, the left near hash, far hash, across the field, and it really opens you up in terms of what you can do defensively. They're going to have to defend the whole field with his arm strength, his ability to get it out. His delivery is very quick, and he's a sharp player, and I think so that will add an element to our offense in terms of defensively. You're going to have to defend the whole field. If we're on the left hash, we can make that. Whether it's a quick out, whether it's a comeback, whether it's a deep out, we can make that throw to the far sideline. And so defensively, you're going to have to defend the whole field.
Obviously, he doesn't have the speed of the quarterback that you had last year, yet he still has run the ball. He still ran the ball quite a bit at Oregon last year.
Mm-hmm.
How much of that would you incorporate in this offense for him? Some type of QB run.
Yeah, Tyler is straight ahead. He's really faster than you think for a guy that's 6'4", 6'5", 220 pounds. He's a straight ahead. He's pretty fast. He might not be the make you miss type guy that maybe I've had in the past in terms of side to side, but I think there will be definitely some times for it. I think we have to be smart with all of our quarterbacks in terms of how much we ask them to run. But definitely did a lot of it at Oregon. He's familiar with it. I think he was under center and ran like a wing tee offense in high school. So I can relate to that. I won't be asking him to do that here, but his ability to run the football, extend plays, will definitely come into play this fall.
We'll go to Phil, then we'll finish with Jarrett.
What did you see from Donovan Smith today, particularly in the scrimmage?
Donovan has scrimmaged the last 3 scrimmages progressively. He's been very consistent. He's gotten, he's made big plays. He's made big throws each scrimmage. His practices from day to day have got to get better. But it's encouraging when he shows up. This is his first spring of being a college quarterback. He played receiver at Bishop Gorman his junior year. He comes to Friendship. He plays in the fall, and they win a bunch of football games. So that tells me he's a winner. He hurts his shoulder last fall in 2-a-days, doesn't go through any practices. So, really him and Barron are in the same boat from the standpoint of this is their first college practices they've ever gone through. And I think that coming back from an arm injury, a shoulder injury, getting your first live reps, he has the ability to throw the ball down the field well. He's very athletic, and he's a big, powerful kid. So I'm really excited about Donovan.
All right, we'll finish with Jarrett.
Hey, Coach, we've asked you a lot about the other quarterbacks, but in all the practices we've been out to this spring, it seems like Columbia's been pretty good. He's throwing the ball well. What's your assessment of his performance this spring?
No, you're right, Jarrett. Henry Columbia has competed his tail off. He is not back down. He's gotten the ball out of his hand quick. I think he really understands himself as a player in terms of his strengths and his weaknesses and where he may be limited in areas. And in terms of arm strength, he gets the ball out quick. He's accurate. He knows timing-wise where to go with the football. And Henry has competed and been very efficient. And I wouldn't just say being efficient from the standpoint of he's just ran the offense. He's had some big plays and some big throws down the field and has a great understanding of what we're doing. And so just in terms of a guy that's competed, I mean, Henry's right up there at the top and has done a really good job of battling and learning.
Madison, just overall, as you said, 15 practices out, how good do you feel about where you are at defense?
Yeah, I think it's obviously the best spring that we've had since being here. I like our depth at, D-line. I like our depth at linebacker. We really had some guys step up and have improved, since the fall, bigger, stronger, more explosive. And I really think we've continued to take another step in the back end, coverage-wise. So it's by far, the most consistent spring that we've had. 15 practices, and we didn't trade time for money in one of those.
Go to Jarrett.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned the back end. How do you feel like the defensive backs performed today, and did anybody individually stand out to you?
Without watching the video, it's hard to say, but I like what I see with the length at corner from Rashad Williams. I just right off the cuff. He made a couple of plays that I thought were really nice. But again, Marquise Waters continues to impress me, and is just a really, really, really good football player. Dadrian Taylor continues to improve. And then I just like the steadiness of DeMarcus Fields, and Adrian Fry had his best spring. So again, I feel good about those guys, and we just got to continue to build depth in the back end, and if we do that, I feel really good.
And then up front, LB Moore made a couple of really nice plays. What's his progression been?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, he's starting to become, he's getting used to carrying that weight. I think he's up to 255. He came in probably weighing 30. So I really like the improvement that he continues to make. He's really going to be a good player down the road. I think you got a glimpse of what Ty Wilson can become. Tony Bradford inside has really played very, very consistent all spring. Him and Jalen Hutchins. And then Devon Drew just continues to improve. And we just got to continue to progress. Philip Beledian and bring Nelson and Banasaur continue to show progress from that injury he had in the fall.
Go ahead, Ronald.
For the most part, Coach, the defense was able to keep the offense out of the end zone for most of the scrimmage today. What did you see from them, and what did you like about their performance?
Well, I just think that it's just the mentality that we've had every day in the spring to compete and enjoy coming to practice every day with the right mentality and a focus. And man, it's just been so consistent. I mean, it's been, in every single thing we've done, the approach that we've taken through 15 practices, the most pleasing thing is obviously the consistency. We weren't up one day and down the next. I felt really, really good 1 through 15.
Go to Don.
Keith, on Devon Drew's interception there in the first play of the game, was that something that was it a good reaction by him?
Yeah.
Was it something that
Yeah, it's something that we work.
Was it something he kind of seen?
Yeah, we really do. We look at the exit angles of quarterbacks and passes, and we work on what we call mirror hand drills. And man, the ball got tipped up in the air, and that's really we teach our guys to break the stack, and that was a prime example. I mean, the ball got deflected, he breaks the stack, turns around, ball. You create population to the ball carrier, and that was one of those deals. You love to see stuff like that because we drill it, and then when you see it happen in a game-like situation, that's really, really pleasing. And again, it just is another, just I guess I don't know how you say it. I mean, he just continues to impress and do some really good things.
As you spend a lot of your time breaking down opposing offenses, what do you think of Texas Tech's passing game right now? What you've seen from the quarterbacks and the receivers?
Yeah, I really like it, man. They're aggressive, and it's just same thing with our offense. I mean, the mentality that they approach, they play like Sonny coaches them. I like to say it's almost like Sonny coaches our offense with a defensive mentality. I mean, an aggressive, get after it, and I like that. And I think it's made us both better. It's made us very aggressive up front. Made our offensive line, has responded to the aggressiveness, and it continues to make us more of a complete team. But I really like what I see. I mean, those quarterbacks, a lot of them can really spin the football, and we got, those young receivers are going to continue to get nothing but better and better, and they're big. I mean, those guys got good size and length, and I really like what I see from our offense.
Go to Phil.
Yeah, Jarrett mentioned LB Moore as someone who had a big game. What can having a good spring game do for a player, whether it's improved confidence, momentum going into workouts, or anything like that?
Yeah, probably all the above. You come out of there, that's the last, you got a good taste in your mouth, you come out, you have some success, and now it just kind of inspires you as you move into May and June and July into preparing for fall camp. So it's obviously a good thing, and he's developed. He has really developed into the young player that I thought he could become coming out of high school. And I think he's just now scratching the surface. What he can become, he's explosive. He's a big athlete, and he's going to continue to get bigger. I think he's been a pleasant, not necessarily a surprise, but just the jump that he made from fall to spring is pretty impressive.
We'll finish with Don.
Keith, a few days ago, we noticed you limping out there. Matt told us you had some knee problems. Do you know what? Are you going to have something done?
I'm going to get an MRI on Monday. Yeah, I don't know. Me and Rand, I don't know what I've done to it. I don't know if it's just wear and tear, but it's probably a meniscus tear, I'm guessing. But I wasn't going to show any signs of weakness, so I tried to fight through it. And, kids were giving me a pretty hard time about it, but it's just something. It won't be anything. We'll get it taken care of here next week, and keep moving forward. But man, I'm just so proud of our kids. The spring that we had, it was very, very impressive. The mentality, offensively and defensively. And then to tap it off yesterday with presenting letter jackets to those lettermen and bringing back the former lettermen, and then just saying thank you to those guys today. Texas Tech, we're moving in the right direction. I can tell you that.
Tyler, I know you came in a couple days in the spring, and it was some catch up for you, when you got here. So how do you feel now that you've gotten a few weeks of practices and spring is complete?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely a lot more comfortable. Coach Cumby, Coach Wells, and all the guys on staff have really been helpful with me transitioning in here with the playbook. I've been doing a lot of lonely work, just trying to memorize it myself, but getting a lot of 13 practices in. Definitely glad I got to come in and get those reps, so it's been very beneficial.
And what do you like most about this offense?
I think it's variety. We really mix it up as far as taking shots down the field, RPO, mixing in runs, perimeter. You're really gonna have a lot of variety to the offense, and they ask a lot of the guys on the offense, and we've kind of answered that bell every time. So I think there's really nothing that we can't do.
Go to Phil.
Where are you right now in terms of building chemistry with your wide receivers, and how much farther do you think you have to go?
Obviously, there's a long road ahead because I've only been here for a month, but I think even right off the bat, I already felt some chemistry. I already could anticipate it coming out of their break, could get a feel for it in a lot of those situations. So, I've connected with almost every single guy in the wide receiver room. So, there's definitely an already chemistry that's there just from practice. But I think that over this summer and fall, it's going to grow a lot more.
Go to Don.
Tyler, do you have a favorite route that you like to throw, a favorite passing? Things kind of been your bread and butter over the years?
I don't really have a favorite. I kind of just try to do what the offense asks me to do, but I always like making the hard out route throws to the field or a comeback. Really just trying to zip it down there, but and obviously deep balls. Everyone loves deep balls, but the best one I've learned, at least in Coach Cummings' offense, is checking the ball down the running back and getting ball placement on it. So I really don't have a favorite, but I've definitely been asked to do a lot more, and it's been good.
I was asking Sonny a little while ago about how much QB run he would build in for you. How much do you like to run the football?
Whatever we need to do to win. I'm comfortable running. Every single drive if we have to, every down. Whatever it takes to get the first down. That's something I've gotten a lot more comfortable with from my time in my past college. So, and then obviously this summer, I felt like my speed is getting increased. So, whatever it takes, I'm willing to do.
Go to Jarrett.
Hey, Tyler, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you doing, Jarrett?
All right. Hey, in competing against this defense this spring, what DBs and linebackers have stood out in coverage?
We rotate so many guys in, and they're all stellar. But I think guys like Fry, Colin Schooler, Eric Monroe. Just a lot of veteran guys have kind of stood out as far as you can tell when you're looking across to them, just the calmness and the way they can disguise stuff. I try not to pay too much attention to individuals as more as just kind of pieces into a puzzle, but just talking with them, I think we got a great defense, and it's been really good going up against them because it's great competition.
Thanks.
Go to Phil.
Tyler, we had JJ Sparkman earlier. He was talking a bit about your personality and leadership. As a new guy, as a quarterback coming into a locker room, what can you sort of do to emerge as a leader and get guys to trust you, I guess?
Yeah, it starts by building one-on-one relationships with each guy. I mean, that's what I'm still trying to do. Still trying to memorize everybody's names, especially on defense, because I'm around the offensive guys a lot. But really, it's just building one-on-ones, getting to know where they're from, what their personality is as well, and then kind of how you can relate to them as far as if they drop a ball, if they score a touchdown, if I make a bad play. We all kind of picked each other up, especially on the offensive line and in the inside receivers, tight ends. I've really gelled with a lot of those guys, so that's what it starts with, and I'm excited for the future even more.
All right, we'll finish with Sam.
What was it like just being out there today with fans in the stands? That's kind of your first, I guess, game-like experience in the stadium. What was that whole experience like for you?
Oh, it was fun. It was great to see some fans out there in the Jones. It was a nice little atmosphere. I know hopefully it's going to be a lot more fans in the fall, but it was regular to me, and it was just football. I try not to – you really don't look up into the stands too much. It's really just going out there on the field and playing some ball. So it was good to get out there with the guys and have a little scrimmage.
And I know you mentioned that you spend a lot of extra time after practice and a lot of time, learning the offense. What will you be doing moving forward in these coming months to kind of just get better and get more acclimated?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of hours in the weight room and then a lot of hours on the field just throwing routes with the guys, gelling with them, doing throwing programs with Coach Scholes, a lot of individual work when we're on break. So really it's just going to be, this offseason, it's going to be just diving into improving all aspects of my game and getting even more comfortable with the guys in the offense.
Hey, JJ, you made some big plays out there today. Just how did it feel to just have a big day? And overall, how did you feel about your spring?
I feel real good. Overall, spring's been real great, like getting the coaching, the technique, actually just like taking the time to learn all the stuff I need to learn to be the best that I can be on every Saturday night.
After 15 practices, how did you like working in this offense under Coach Cumbie?
It was great. Working in this offense was real great. I learned a lot more. Just taking the time to sit down and learn the offense and like just go through everything. You learn a lot.
Go to Brandon.
Hey JJ, just wanted to know how your relationship with Tyler Shuck has been since he's arrived on campus.
It's been great. We've been getting a lot closer, throwing on the weekends, just trying to build that connection together. He's a fun guy to be around.
And for you in the run game, how's kind of your run blocking been improving, or is there something that you kind of need to work on moving forward?
As far as the run game, it's always improvement. You can never be too good, but coming there, you just want to. It's just a will, the one to block, and that's what we're going to do on the outside this year. We're going to block.
Go to Don. All right, we'll try to go to Jarrett.
Hey JJ, it appears, at least through spring practice and then today, that there's more opportunities for deep passes. Is that the case or not from last season?
We're trying to get the ball down the field this year. That's the game plan. Take shots, make plays. That's really the game plan this year. Just putting the ball in the air and let us go make a play.
Thanks.
All right, we'll go to Chuck.
Yeah, JJ. You were talking a little bit about your newest quarterback, Mr. Shuck. I was curious. You talked about how you bonded with him, but each quarterback has different things that kind of set them apart, just from a physical standpoint, arm count, whatever. What strikes you about him?
I'd say the strengths about Tyler, he's vocal. He's real vocal. He has a big arm. He even picks me up. Like when I miss a play, he has the ability to pick up a team and lead a team. So I had to say that's his biggest strength.
we'll go back to Sam.
JJ, I saw early on you guys pushed the pace and were snapping pretty quick, and other times not as much. How has that been going back and forth on tempo so far this spring?
It's something we worked on since we stepped on, since the first day of practice. We just like pushing the tempo, slowing it down, being able to do both, be more versatile.
Hey Devon, overall through 15 practices, how good do you feel about where you are as a defense?
Pretty good. I think we've gotten a lot better. I think we're building on how we kind of finished last year. We added some new pieces. I think like we building depth. I think that was the biggest thing. Like just in case, hopefully not, but just in case if anybody was to go down, we starting to build depth for people that can just step in and perform at a high level.
Go to Jarrett.
Hey, Devon, can you take us through that interception you got there at the beginning?
Yeah. We had a pressure on there, so I was face slanting to the right. That's what we call it. And I got through, and I was just really running to try to help make the tackle, and the ball basically just fell in my hands. I wasn't even expecting it.
And then it seemed like last year you had more reps and played really well at the end of the season. How much has that helped your confidence this spring and then moving forward?
It helped it a lot because I know I belong and I can play at a high level, and but I still try to focus on getting better because I can always get better. So that's pretty much the biggest thing coming into spring was trying to still get better and build on how we finished and all the success we had last year.
Go ahead, Jarrett.
My bad. I said you said you're working on getting better. What did you work on this spring? Where do you feel like you got better personally?
The knowledge of the game. I think that's kind of like the biggest part, like knowing when you can take certain risks and stuff, trying to be like better playmakers, make more plays up front. That was probably one of the biggest things we're trying to work on up front is like being better playmakers.
Go to Phil.
Devon, you talked about building the depth, particularly on the defensive line. Which of your teammates have stood out to you as having a really good offseason, a really good spring?
The most, I would probably say, I mean, besides like those guys is like kind of in there with the starting rotation, like Ty and all them. Nelson, he's coming back from injuries, but he's going to be good. And then Phil's gotten a lot better, I think so, than what he was last year. He's growing. And then LB's putting on weight too, so he's getting better too.
Go to Brandon.
Yeah, Devon, I was going to actually ask you about your own gains and stuff since you arrived from Iowa Western. What's Coach Scholes kind of done with you personally to make you just better in shape or whatever it may be?
Lifting. My biggest thing is getting stronger. So the lifting has been what it was. I've been getting lifting more, and then also like he called it like FRC. So that's like with joints and stuff. That's kind of working on your hips and all that, getting your hips better and stuff like that.
And what weight are you playing at right now?
280.
Go to Chuck to finish.
Yeah, Devon. Just curious, just from the defensive standpoint, what stands out about the new offensive scheme going up against it in the spring?
A lot of deep shots, and then it's not as fast paced, but at times they can speed it up when they want to. That kind of stands out the most to me.